After Beautiful Boy and Ben is Back, this is another film about perils of drug addiction and the difficulties of rehab. We had an interview in your absence with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Sam Taylor Johnson, who have co-written the film. Sam Taylor Johnson directed, Aaron Taylor Johnson stars. Adapted from a book by James Fry, and so Aaron Taylor Johnson plays James Fry, who we first meet in a state of drugged out frenzy, dancing crazily, falling over. He's crashed and burned, and he's then taken to rehab by his brother, who tells him, "You have to stay here." Here's a clip.
I saw this thing on TV about how in Japan they repair broken objects with gold. It's like the flaw becomes part of its history, part of what makes it beautiful.
I know nothing about what I am is beautiful.
I was thinking maybe you should get some gold teeth.
Only 15% stay sober after they leave this place. And that's only after the first year. Those are the real statistics, the one they don't advertise.
Why are you saying that?
It's fact.
Who's that? Come on. Let's go back.
Well, I think I might just stay here a while.
Now, I have to say, I hadn't read the memoir, and I knew nothing about its publishing history, which was that it came out in the early part of the century. It was published as a memoir. Oprah Winfrey apparently embraced it. It became a hit. And then some journalists started checking out the story, didn't add up. They couldn't find records of events that he'd said had happened or criminal records that he'd said existed. And it subsequently turned out that some significant sections of the story had been fabricated, and the thing became quite a cause célèbre, to the point that it was even in some bookstores reclassified from non-fiction into fiction. The film acknowledges that controversy only really in an opening quote from Mark Twain, which is, "I've lived through some terrible things in my life, and some of which actually happened." But the rest of it is played entirely straight. And I think that one of the problems with the film is that it falls very much into cliche and artifice. And I think that is a product of the fact that it's based on something which is cliched and to some extent artificial. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance is full on and that extremely committed, and he certainly, goes 100% and, gives it his all. Billy Bob Thornton is there playing a kind of rather caricatured older addict who's been through all this before and is a kind of mentor figure. Juliette Lewis shows a different side of herself as a counselor, rather than playing, formerly she would play sort of wild characters. Now she's playing somebody who's a counselor. But the problem with the film is that it seemed to me to be a collection of tropes that we'd seen before, and very much full of exactly the kind of cliche ticks and turns that we know from the cinematic version of this story. And I do think it needs to be much more than that, particularly when, the origin of the story and the source of the story is kind of interestingly conflicted. It ends up being a film which is, it's that film. It's the film in which, I'm going to have to dig down deep inside to find something. And I understand that any story of somebody overcoming addiction is important to be told, but I don't think this is told in a particularly original or engaging way.